Bullying can take many forms, but the results are the same. The individual being bullied can feel depressed, anxious, and isolated. According to the 2016 Metro West Adolescent Health Survey, 15% of students at Pollard and 19% of students at Needham High School reported being bullied. Now, these rates have been trending downward over the last several years, but bullying still exists in and out of school. We spoke with clinicians at Needham Youth and Family Services to find out what can be done to support bullied students.
Bullying can take so many different forms, and the key part about it when we're explaining this to kids and to families, it's that repetitive behavior. It's an imbalance of power where someone is purposely trying to hurt someone else's feelings. Where it gets a little complicated is, I think, a lot of times with different categories of bullying, we have very direct examples where it might include physical altercations. We have verbal bullying where it's, our name calling or rude comments, things like that. But then there's also kind of that newer category where it might be someone whom you had already been friends with or had an outstanding relationship with in the past. And for whatever reason, things shift and people, start excluding people. And it might be more indirect acts that are still hurting somebody's feelings, but might not fit into that typical presentation of just general being mean. It's more underneath the surface. And then of course there's also cyberbullying and things that are happening online.
Someone who is the target of these kinds of aggressive behaviors, their self-esteem can go down, they can feel low, they can feel depressed, they can definitely feel anxious because they might not know when the type of behavior is coming towards them. They kind of feel scared and a lot of times alone.
It can impact kids' ability to learn. If they're at school and they can't focus on what's happening in the classroom because they're so worried about what friends are thinking, what peers are thinking, what interactions might be happening in the hallway, then they're not focusing on the learning that's taking place in the classroom.
I think it's really important that if you see something that would make you feel bad if it was happening to you, to call in reinforcements and let someone know, somebody that you're comfortable with, so that the appropriate action can be taken or support can be given. I think that's really important. It's not about necessarily getting the quote-unquote bully or aggressor in trouble more than it should be getting someone who's being targeted support and help.
The most obvious thing to look for, while everyone might present a little bit differently, is a shift in behavior. If someone is always talkative and friendly and, easy to engage in conversation with, and that's how your child normally is, and then, they start coming home from school and they're being more withdrawn, or there's that shift where just something seems off, it's worth talking about it and saying, what's going on here?
Let somebody know that's not appropriate to say to me, or I don't like it when you do that. That's hard to do in certain situations, but I think if we can build some confidence in kids and students, that it is helpful to be able to give them the language and the words to use to speak up for themselves.
There's lots of resources related to bullying. I always recommend that people check in with their guidance counselors. Needham Public Schools has so many wonderful guidance counselors in all of their buildings. Likewise, our office deals with a lot of situations related to bullying where clients will come in and just need someone to talk to about what's going on and to normalize and sympathize. And give them that space to discuss what's happening so they feel supported.